Hi, this is Pavel with a C# exercise from the book C# How to Program. This one is Chapter 8, Exercise 19, Airline Reservation System. We are going to we've been asked to develop the new system for the airline. We are going to write an app to assign seats on each flight of the airline's only plane with a 10-seat capacity. Now we will display the following alternatives. 1, if the user types 1, he wants to be assigned to first class, or 2 for the economy. If the user types 1, like I said, it's going to be assigned a first class ticket. There's 5 seats for the first class, 1 to 5. And otherwise, if he types 2, then it's going to be the economy section, which is another 5 seats only, from 6 to 10. They want us to use one-dimensional array of type boolean to represent the seating chart of the plane. We will initialize all the elements of the array to false at the beginning, because all seats are empty. So, once the seat for each assigned seat, we will set the corresponding element of the array to true to indicate that the seat is no longer available. So if we take a seat, again, they will be initialized to false, and every used seat will be initialized or will be set to true. And your app should never assign a seat that has already been assigned. In other words, we'll have to check with each assignment whether the seat is already taken. When the economy section is full, we should ask if it's acceptable to place into the first class and vice versa. And if it is acceptable, we will make the appropriate seat assignment. If no, then we will display the message next flight leaves in 3 hours. And we can actually display this message even when all the seats on first and second class are full. Then there's no more free seats. We will display the same message. Okay, so that's the assignment. I will do everything in one class. I will not do this as a, I will not create any more classes. I will simply do few static methods and variables. And the first one we'll do, and I'll do it as public because I will need this access throughout the program by all methods, and it's going to be static. It has to be static because we are going to be using, the main method, which is static. Again, we are not using any classes other than this one. So it's going to be the boolean array and call it seats. So this is our initial array that will hold the seats. And that's going to be 10 of them. Another one will be I will do. It's going to be static again, and it's going to be an integer that will hold the total assigned first class. Now this is going to hold the assigned seats for the first class to determine whether it's full or not, and we will do the same for the second class. So it's going to be public static integer total assigned second class. So basically we will check if this in total assigned first class equals 5, because there's 5 seats for the first class and 5 seats for the second class. All right, so what we need to do, we need to initialize the array. So our seats array, which is the boolean, equals new. It's going to be the boolean, and it's going to have 11. It's going to be 10 elements, 5 seats for each class. And I will create another variable which is going to hold the number of the seat that the user wants to take. So not that the user really wants to take, because it's going to be assigned automatically and randomly, but this will hold the number of the seat that we're trying to assign. I initialize it to 0. Okay, so now let me populate the array with false. Remember, at the beginning each seed is empty, so we'll initialize it to false. So it's a simple for each variable element in seeds, and I'm sorry, you know what, let me I'm going to do a for loop integer I equals 0, I is less than 10, and I plus plus, and we will assign the seed. We will simply initialize each seed to false, as empty. This is at the beginning when the program starts. Each seed is empty. All right, so now we have our array initialized to false. Now we can start assigning the seeds. And in order for us to assign seeds, we know that there's 10 seeds on the plane, so we can loop again, and I'll start with you know what, let me do this. Let me do this as 11 in 11 elements, and over here I will do the reason, because I'm going to start with a seed number 1. I don't want to deal with you know, the 0 based, like do all like the I minus 1 and all that. So I will simply start from 1 and assign 10 seeds. So 1 will actually equal 1. You know, element 1 will actually equal 1, and we will ignore the element 0. There will be nothing there. We will discard that. So in other words, we will only take element 1 through 10 inclusive. So it's less or equal to 10 I plus plus, and we will ask, you know, the user for to enter whether the user wants a ticket for economy or the first class. So console dot write line, please type 1 for first class or 2 for second class or economy. Let's call it what they want us to call it, so we don't feel like second class citizens, I guess. But so when we have that, we have the input. Now we assign it to the selected class. That's the so selected class equals, and we'll have to convert it to integer because the selected class is an integer, to integer 32. Console dot read line. So now the user will enter whether they want first class or second class. So now we store it in our variable selected class. Okay, now we have to check whether the user actually entered you know, how would I put it? We have to check that they didn't enter anything other than 1 or 2, because if they did, then, you know, we got an error. We only accept 1 or 2 as an input. So over here I will do a while loop like I did many times in my previous videos. So while selected class is less than 1, or it's greater than 2, right? Because again, we only accept in 1 or 2. Or selected class is greater than 2, then we got a problem. So we have to inform the user. Console dot write line, please only enter 1 or 2 for first or economy class. Okay, and now we can of course assign whatever the user entered again, so it's gonna be the same line. I'll just copy it and paste it right here. So once the user entered correct number, we can move on. So over here, we are still in the for loop. Over here, we are checking whether it's whether user wanted first class or the second class. So if selected class equals 1, we'll do something. Come on, equals 1. Else, meaning the user entered 2, we'll do something else. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to create a method that assigns the tickets to each class. So after this, I will create a method that, well, I'll call it assign first class. Am I out of the? Yeah, there we go. A little spacing there. Okay, so it's going to be public static assign first class. No arguments, because we have these arguments that we need already available to us. Okay, so now how do we assign the first class? So if we need to make sure of a few things, such as whether the seed is already taken, whether the first class is already full, and then depending on that, we will, ask to assign a second class. So if the seed is taken, we need to keep assigning or trying to assign a class. A seed until until a correct seed is being assigned. So I will do a boolean no duplicate, and I will assign it false to begin with. I will of course need a random, because we are randomly assigning this class, these seeds. Why do I keep saying classes? I don't know. Equals random, and now I will keep generating the seed number until a free seed is assigned. So basically I'm going to be doing that while no duplicate. So while duplicate is not remember we assign it as false at the beginning, so while not duplicate, which means while it is false, we will trying to loop through it, and so I will do, okay, I need another variable. I will call it index, and I will start it with 0. This will be the one that will hold the random number. So our index equals random.next. And remember, this is first class, so it's seeds 1 through 5, or inclusive, so we have to do 6, because 6 is not inclusive. So in other words, it will be 1 through 5 only. We start with 1 and end with 5. 6 is the upper bound that is not being assigned. So over here, I have the random number, and now I'll check to see if it's a duplicate or not. I will be looping until it is not. So if our seeds of the index, which is the seed I'm trying to assign, is the seed number, is true. Remember, we initialize all the empty seeds to false. If it's true, then it's a duplicate. So our no duplicate will still equal false. It's still a duplicate. So it goes back over here and assigns a different number. It checks if it's if this is true, if the seed is empty, and if it's not, then it goes again and again until the seed is true. When it is true, it will skip. It will come over here. This is now true. It is no duplicate equals true. and we can assign the seed. So after the while loop, we can we'll assign the seed with the index. That's the random that's the last random number that was accepted, and that's the one that is available. So we will assign that as true. In other words, true means that the seed is now taken. And we will add the total assigned first class. We will add 1. Remember, we have to check if it's if this equals 5, then first class is full. And over here I can simply do probably a console write line that will assign the seed. Console dot write line, and I will simply say that the seed was assigned. So assigned seed, and the placeholder number with 0 decimal points, and the number that I'm assigning is the index. That's the one that that's the seed number that is being assigned. All right. So oh, I forgot semicolon. Okay. So why is there an error? Oh, it's a void. We're not returning anything. So we come over here, and we will check, is this a first class that the user assigns? Yes. So let's call the assigned first class. Simple as that. Now we assigned, we call in the function or that assigns the seed for the first class. Okay, so and we can do the same for the second class. But let's finish the first class. Remember, we have to make sure that the first class is not full. So if the user wants first class, first, before we assign the seed, we are going to make a check if total assigned first class equals 5. Then we know that it is full. But we can also check. Actually, you know what? First, we need to check if the whole plane is full, and total assigned second class equals 5. Then the whole plane is full. Now, and we have to, display the message. Sorry, the plane is full. So if this is true, we will do console. No, what am I doing? I'm sorry, not if the plane is full. Okay, the user selects first class. I'm sorry, I have to backtrack a little. But if the first class is full and the second class is not full, which means that actually not equal to 5, but is less than 5, in other words, there are still some empty seeds, then we will have to ask if the user minds to be assigned to a second class. So we will do console.write line, and I will simply do sorry, first class is full. Do you want to get a ticket for second class or economy class? Economy class. And now we will ask the user if they want or not. We can do yes or no. And if the answer is yes, then we will do something. We will go and assign the second class. So I'll start with no, though. If console.read line that equals y, actually no, then we'll simply say, okay, the next plane leaves in 3 hours or something. Console dot write line. Next plane leaves in 3 hours. Okay, and if they say yes, in other words, if it's else, then we will assign the second class. And for that, I will simply create a second total assign first class. What is this? Some left over. Okay, so I will create a method called assign second class. Assign, just like I created first class, it will be second class. So over here I will do my method or my function. It's going to be public static and void assign second class, and it's going to be just like the first class, really. So you know what, let me just copy everything in there, and then I will change it as needed. But before I do that, I want to start. So since I already have the method for the second class, so if user selects first class, we'll do the check and assign the second go to the first class. Now what if it's not full? We have to come over here and assign the actual seat. So else over here, or else if the total assigned first class is less than 5, in other words, if there are still empty seats, then we can assign the class, the first class. So where am I? Else over here, and I will do assign first class. So let me recap. User enters 1 or 2 for the first class or the economy class. If it's 1, then we know we want the first class. But first we have to check to see if there are any available seats. If not, if the total assigned first class is already full, and this one, the second class, is still has still some seats available, we will display, okay, do you want to assign an economy class, and ask the user to enter yes or no. If the user answers no, I don't want to go to second class, well, then we will simply display a message, next plane leaves in 3 hours. If the user says, all right, assign me an economy class, then we will call the assign second class. All right, now if this is false, if the total assigned first class is less than 5, in other words, there are still some available, we can assign the first class directly. We don't have to ask if they want second class, because there are still empty seats in the first class. So we will simply go and assign our first class seat. And we will do something similar for the second class. In fact, that's probably going to be very I need to check the duplicate again, random. I will be generating just the same thing. In fact, it seems like I can just call the same method, except over here I will add total second class. I will add a seed to total second class, because now we are dealing with second class. Maybe you know what, let me just finish it. It looks like these are all the same, so I may be able to just refactor it and just use 1 for both first and second class. All right, so now okay, I have my first class. I check that and assign is. Now this is If this is not a first class, then it is a second class, and we will do something similar. If total assigned second class equals 5 and total assigned first class is less than 5. So this is in reverse. If the second class is full but the first one is not, then we will simply ask whether we can assign an economy class instead. I mean a first class instead of the economic one. So if this is true, sorry, over here it's going to be economy class is full. Do you want to assign a ticket for first class? Yes or no? If no, then again, next plane leaves in 3 hours. If else, then we will assign first class. No, I don't know what this is. Alright, so it's basically, for now, seems like might be all. Okay, so our final output, remember, once we run these, but you know what, when we run these and the user says no, then we lose like one iteration basically. No seed is being assigned. So what we can do when the user says no, but there are still some empty seeds, but he just doesn't want to switch the classes, then we can, well, this is really not a good practice. We can manipulate the I again to kind of gain back that one iteration. But well, let me look at it after I run the test, see if that's something, because it's not really a good practice. Over here I will just do an empty line, and I will also output console.writeLine. This will be output if neither of this is true. When we run all the numbers, then we know the plane is full already. So over here we will simply write, sorry, the plane is full. Next one leaves in 3 hours. Okay, so and console.readLine to pause the screen. And so let me try to run it quickly. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna run correctly yet. Okay, so we got please enter 1 or 2. So I'll start with 4. Just the wrong input, and it says please enter 1 or 2. I'll try 3. Nah, doesn't want it. So 1, and it's gonna crash. It's not crashing, but it's not doing anything. It's like an infinite loop or something. Alright, well, let me look what's wrong here. So I will do a quick debug there. Let me run that. Yeah, something definitely not right, clearly. Okay, so alright, here we are. So I'll type 1 for the first class, and we go through the loop. It asks, is it full? No, so we assign the first class just like expected. Now we are assigning the first class, and now it should go and assign a seed, because they're all empty. So whatever number is generated with its seed 1, and it should assign seed 1 and it'll get out of the loop. Ooh, but it didn't, because the duplicate is false. Okay. Alright, yeah, so it was an infinite loop. What I have to do, before I hit that loop, before I hit the assigning the seed, I will simply assume that it's no duplicate anymore, because never in the program I had no duplicate assign a true value, so it was always false. Now if this is true, now it is true, so it will assign the seed and checks if that seed is true, and if it is, this will remain true, so it comes over here and skips the loop now. That's what it was. So over here too, since these are the same, now duplicate equals true. Alright, so let's try it again. I didn't mean to do it with the debugging, just to run it. So I'll remove the breakpoint. And okay, so let's try 1 for the economy class, for the first class. And it went through and randomly assigned seed number 2. So I will make it full. Now 5, now 4, so there's still seed 1 and 3 available. So now let's seed 1 available. There you go. And I will try to assign another seed in the first class, and now it should tell me that, there's no more seeds available. Sorry, first class is full. Do you want to get ticket for the economy class? And I will say no. So it will say next plane leaves in 3 hours. So if I'll try to assign another one, it says the same thing. No, you can't. And I don't want to see it. Oh, now it's actually even crashing on me. It's doing something unexpected. It won't let me enter anything. So and that's because this condition within the loop is simply not, it asks and it displays this, but it doesn't assign anything. So that's a problem. We need to deal with how the loop is being constructed. Still not really sure. Let me run it again. And okay, if I do 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1, so now it is full. I'll try to assign. It is not. It's not going to go. First class or second 2 for economy. I will try first again. It says. Okay, I know. See, now it gave me actually. It went through and did another option, and the reason why it did that, because when it hits over here, it loops through the numbers, and it tries to find the empty seed in the first class. So, but if I say no, like I said before, it still counts as one iteration, and there is no there's only 10 of them. So because there's 10 seeds. So I'm going to do something that is not a best practice by any means. I'm going to manipulate the I within the loop. So if the user says no, they don't want to assign, I will decrease I by 1. In other words, I will take this one last iteration that did not lead to any assignment of empty seed. I'll just take it back. And I'll do the same over here if the user decides to do no for the second class, for the economy class. So this will kind of reset the loop back to one iteration, because again, no seed was assigned. And then it goes, so we can assign 5 of these and 5 of these. Oh, and by the way, this is wrong. This is a first class has seeds 1 and 6, but the second class has 6 starts with seed 6 to 10. In other words, to 11, because not inclusive. Okay, so let's try it again. Let's see if that's gonna work. So I will again do all empty the first class first, and I will try to assign it. No, I don't want it. I want to go only to first class. So sorry, plane leaves in 3 hours. Please type 1 for first class. I'll type again. No. and again no, and again no. So but now it's working. Now it's returning the back to the proper iteration of the loop. So now I will try to say yes. Okay, so assign seed 6, which is second class. Remember, 1 through 5 is a first class, and 6 to 10 is the economy class. So I will assign another economy class, which it did not go through now. I don't know why. So there's still another bug somewhere. All right. So let me run it again, and I will try to assign the economy class directly. And then it worked, but I had to press. It pressed actually. Seed 5 is first class, so there's something wrong with the assignment of the seeds in the not the first class, but the else statement, the second class. So let's debug a little. So I'll press 2 to assign economy class. So it goes to else. If this is true, which is not, we don't have a full economy class. Oh, this is, I don't have it wrapped correctly. I don't have the if statement wrapped correctly. See how this is, all this is inside of an if statement. So if this is true, then we will do this, else we will assign. It's a if statement within if statement. Basically what it did, it checked this, it skipped the line, but then it checked this, and there was no input because we did not even go through, this condition was false. It was supposed to be skipped, although this was supposed to be skipped. So let me try it again. So I'll do economy class directly, and it assigned seed 3, but it shouldn't. It should assign 6 through 11. I mean 6 through 10. So why did it do number 3? That I don't know. So once again, let's start debugging. Put a breakpoint. Oh, actually, never mind. We don't need a breakpoint. See how I got it wrapped still wrong. This if statement is the main one. It checks if there are if the economy class is full and the first class is empty, then we can go ahead and ask the user if they want to be assigned to the first class, yes or no. So if the answer is no, then we will simply say, you know, the plane leaves in 3 hours. Else, I forgot that, we will assign, in other words, if user doesn't mind to be assigned to first class, which obviously no one would mind, then we'll assign the first class. This is only true if the second class of the economy class is full. Only then we will be assigning the first class. But over here, this else statement means that there are still empty seats in the economy class, so we will assign not the first class, but assign second class. All right. This is getting a little, at least you get a little to see how you know, all these are being developed with all the debugging and everything. Okay, so let's try 2, and now we got a seat 8. So I will make the second class full, which it is now. So sorry, economy class is full. Do you want a ticket? I say no, I don't want to go to first class. All right, well, too bad. So let's try again, and this time I say yes, I want to go to first class. So it assigns seat number 4, and I will assign directly to first class, which is seat 5, seat 1, seat 2, and now everything is full. So it says, sorry, the plane is full, next one leaves in 3 hours, and the program exits. Oof, that was something, I tell you. But like I said, it's you know, it's a process. You have to figure out the logical mistakes. The syntax, fortunately, is being caught usually by the Visual Studio, but the logical mistakes, that's something that is harder to debug, and that's why you have to use the breakpoints and see step by step how the program is being executed. So let me recap quickly. We have we have the array of seeds that will hold 10 elements. Well, we have 11 because we did not use the 0, 1. I just wanted to start from seed 1, so that would be the element 1. And then we have a total assigned of the first class and second class, which is what did I just do? And that's those will hold the number of seeds that are being full in each of the class. So here we go and we declare the array with like I said, 11 elements because we ignore the element 0. And we will collect the input from the user in the selected class, 1 or 2, economy or first class. Over here is just a quick loop to assign the false to each seed at the beginning. In other words, each seed will be empty. And now we have the main loop that loops 10 times because there are 10 seeds altogether in the airplane. We will ask the user to enter 1 or 2, 1 for the first class, 2 for the economy class. And over here we will check to make sure that he indeed entered only 1 or 2. And if he didn't, then we will be looping through this little code until he actually does. Now if the user entered 1, means that he wants to go to a first class. So we come over here and we check if the first class is full. If it is, and the second class or the economy class is not full yet, we will let the user choose whether he wants to be assigned a seat in the economy class instead. And if he says no, he only wants first class, we will simply display, okay, next plane leaves in 3 hours, and we will change the iteration back one step because no seed was assigned. We are looping 10 times until 10 seeds are assigned, and over here no seed was assigned. But if he wants to be assigned, okay, first class is full, I want to go to the economy class, then we will call the function assign second class. And so that's if the first class is full. If the first class is not full, which is over here, if the assigned first class is less than 5, means that there's still some empty seats, then we will call the first class. And similarly, we do it for the for the economy class. If the user wants to be assigned economy class and it's full, but the first class is not, then we will let the user or give the user option to be assigned as economy class seat instead. I mean first class seat instead. And again, we have to make sure that we take one iteration of the loop back, because if he says no, he only wants the economy class, not the first class, then we didn't assign any seats, so we have to take one iteration back. Now if he says that, okay, assign me a first class, then we will assign first class. Now if the second class or the economy class is not full, if it doesn't equal 5, then we'll simply assign the seat in the economy class. The functions for first and second class are very similar. We have a boolean no duplicate that will simply check if the random number that was generated, it was already taken. So we go to our loop and we loop until until basically we find an empty seed, until there is no duplicate. We have to initialize no duplicate to true here, otherwise it would be always false because we initialize it to false over here. So over here we initialize it to true and we get a random number from 1 to 6. This is for the first class. And over here we check if that number, which is an element in an array, equals true. Remember, they were all assigned false, and if they are being taken, then they're assigned true. Assigned seeds have a true value, empty seeds have a false value. So if the seed has a value of true, means it's already taken, then no duplicate equals false, because we still have a we're trying to the number that was generated is basically already taken. So we come over here again and repeat the process. We find another random number 126, and we will be looping until we find a number that that does not equal that is not taken yet. In other words, with a value of false. If that happens, then this condition is now true. So this loop is exits. This loop, the while loop exits, and we can assign that index, whatever was the the random number that was generated, is now our element in our array, and we will assign true to it. So now the seed is taken, and we will add 1 to our assigned first class variable, because this is what we check. When it, like I said, when it equals 5, then the first class is full, and we will simply output, okay, this number, this seed number is being assigned. After that, of course, we go to another iteration of the loop and ask again, first class or second class. So if it goes to second class, it's just like the first one. We loop until the empty seed is being found. When it is, it's being assigned. At this time, we will increase by 1 the assigned second class variable, because now we are dealing with the economy class, and then we will output in the console that this seed is being taken. After the loop, the 10 iterations, in other words, after the 10 seeds were assigned, then we exit the loop, obviously, and we know 10 seeds were assigned, so there's no empty seed, so we can simply at the end display, okay, the plane is full. Alright, so this is my solution to this exercise. I hope it gave you a few hints. Hopefully it helped you, and I will see you next time.